Another year of a Peyton Manning-led offense for the Denver Broncos, this time under Gary Kubiak. I'm Jason Gilbo here at Fantasy Football Cafe, taking a look at the Broncos who have fallen short in the postseason over the last few years. Any Peyton Manning-led offense is going to be huge, but I really like the running game. I like the defense. They got some great weapons in the wideouts. With Manning, even at the age of 39 and some injuries over the past few seasons, 4,500 yards, 35 touchdowns is probably what you're going to get yet again. It's been what we've been accustomed to. I doubt he will let us down even at the age of 39. Guy makes his targets around him better. Hard to make Thomas any better, but Manning does. 184 targets for Demaryius Thomas last season, and I think the upside in touchdowns is going to be a lot bigger with Julius Thomas now in Jacksonville, especially in the red zone. So it's going to be good news for Demaryius Thomas. His yards after catch are impressive, second most among wide receivers, just behind Golden Tate. Taking a look at Emmanuel Sanders, surface is a top 20 wide receiver here in 2015, but the ADP is going around the third round. Very high for Emmanuel Sanders, in my opinion. I just like, yes, he's going to be a stable 1,000-yard guy at the least. I think around 8 touchdowns is probably where you're going to find him. Yeah, some slight upside there, but I still think you're going to find his production much lower in the draft. But yeah, you're probably paying for safety there if you're going to draft him at that ADP. He just has that Peyton Manning hype going into any of his wide receivers, so I'm sitting back and probably drafting him a little later if I can, or just passing on him altogether. Julius Thomas has taken the money, hit Jacksonville. Owen Daniels has come in under a familiar coach of his, Gary Kubiak, and drafting a tight end late in rounds or for cheap, you can take Owen Daniels. I think he's pretty safe, 600 yards, 5-6 touchdowns. Not, maybe not a ton of upside. You got Verl Green, may see some snaps next to him, but I think Daniels is the favorite to get the targets. But you could see a battle here in the early season if Daniels doesn't assert himself in the passing game, but I think that's going to be the case. You got to like any tight end under Peyton Manning. So it's pretty simple there. You're ranking the Broncos passing game as one of the tops in the business. Looking at the running game, though, I think big-time upside for C.J. Anderson, a dream fantasy player in PPR leagues. You got to like him in standard formats as well. On 170 attempts last season, 4.7 yards per carry, 849 yards, and 8 scores. Really took advantage of the injuries and now has established himself as a clear-cut number 1 back coming into the season. And you got to like that, so we're not playing any guessing games. Rankings like him better than LaShawn McCoy, and I agree, but I'm going to do one better. I like him better than Matt Forte. I think Matt Forte is going to take a dip there in Chicago, which with John Fox being the coach there, I don't think the passing game is going to be great as last season, and I think his yards per carry are starting to really slip as he gets up in age. So I like him better than both those guys. And you got like Anderson where he's going. You can see him going in either the late first round if someone's reaching for him, but in the second, I think that's a great place to get him. So really like C.J. Anderson this season. Both the passing game, a really nice pass blocker. So he's going to be on the field, 3 downs, of course. I don't see anyone overtaking him. And one thing people have worried about, including myself, but I've seen kind of Kubiak, who's dealt with Foster injuries over the past few seasons. We saw the Broncos go down with injuries last season. Monty Ball, Ronnie Hilliard there go down, which created that, and they ran the hot hand. Kubiak has always given the job right back to Foster. Of course, a kind of similar situation where there's no one as talented as Foster coming back, so you immediately give him back his role. But it makes me a little more comfortable just in case Anderson does get hurt, misses out on a week or two, or even longer. But I'm taking Anderson. I love Anderson in drafts. Definitely a top 5 running back in my book. So we're reaching the end of the Manning fantasy years, but still plenty of gas left in the tank for 2015. A lot of like to round him. So it's going to be a fun year for the Broncos.